Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today, we're here to talk about the letters of St. Ignatius of Antioch. So, now, of course, the question becomes, why is it that people thought this should have been in the Bible? I mean, why could it have been in the Bible?
At latest, these are written in 110. These are pretty early documents.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's thought that he, along with Polycarp, were disciples of St. John the Apostle, so
just like Mark and Luke got in, even though they themselves weren't directly apostles, he could get in as a disciple of an apostle.
Okay.
Also, according to some, St. Peter was the one who said he should become the bishop, so, he's still connection. And in a more, we can't prove it, but even more directly, he might have been in the Bible.
Ooh.
There's a tradition that states that he was one of the children that was blessed by Jesus. I'm assuming the story where they're like,
let the children come unto me.
Nice. Nice.
Which would make him in the Bible and someone who actually knew Jesus, during his earthly life.
All right.
That'd be great. That'd be great later in life. Yeah, when Jesus says, "Become like a child," he meant me. Unless you become like me, you will not enter the kingdom.
Yeah.
So listen to your bishop. Can't wait to die.
The church at Philippi actually requested the collection of these letters to be sent to them, so I'm assuming that at least at that church they read them. Although I imagine if you were, one of them, that you had so many extra things of everyone who wrote to your church.
But I mean, think of the honor if you're the church at Magnesia.
I don't know about his letter to the. Well, he didn't. I don't know about. No, he didn't write to the Philippians.
No, the Philadelpians.
Well, but this was the Church of Philippi who requested the.
Well, there's more than one Philippi.
All right, fair enough.
But anyway, and his letter to the Roman was quoted as early as the 2nd century by Saint Irenaeus, who was the bishop of what is now in France. So it wasn't like, he was in one of the towns that it originally went to. It had to have spread. The manuscript thought to be the most authentic, the middle one, was found early examples in Greek, Latin, Armenian, Slovakian, Coptic, Arabic, Ethiopian. You're going to correct my mispronunciation of things?
Yeah, when she says Slovakian, what she means is Slavonic.
See, I knew how I wanted to pronounce it was wrong. But
Indeed. Coptic, Arabic, Ethiopic, and Syriac. So you've got an early date, you've got links to an apostle, and you've got widespread distribution.
Yes.
So there are a few reasons I found for why it was not put in. First, because I've read a wild number of sources. I love the Protestants who insisted that he didn't say anything. He gave no new doctrine. So, where I'm sure if he had new doctrine, they'd be like, "This is heretical because it has new doctrine."
Well, once you've decided the outcome, you can't win.
But it does, like many of the ones we've discussed, have a lot of numbers. A number of quotes and paraphrases of books that were in the Bible, including in this case a lot of things that are like New Testament. Which is interesting given how soon it was written. Like it must have been fresh on his mind. She's like, I just heard of this new thing.
Well, it shows that these letters from a very early time had widespread circulation among the Christians. So that even though Paul had written to this community, churches over in a different community knew of those letters and were willing to quote or paraphrase them.
Yes, in relationship to your mixed metaphor, the original ones are noted for having, this was written quickly. Like, he was literally on his way to be martyred. So
he didn't have time to polish these things.
Yeah,
he's on the way from town 1 to town 2. He's only got the time in between town 1 and town 2 to get this thing written.
There's run-on sentences. There's the mixed metaphors. Like, you could tell it was written quickly.
It's rough and ready.
Yeah. Although I'm sure there was, a few drafts that the various people who were writing things made notes before doing the official, all right, that's why Paul wrote things with his own hands. He's like, I need to be able to write an outline so I remember exactly all the reasons why I'm upset at the Corinthians at this moment to tell my scribe.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
He just was like, all right, you got a quill and some parchment? Let's go. And also, although it seemed to be widely read for, personal devotions. It doesn't seem like a lot of the churches were reading them as their church service.
It didn't have liturgical acceptance.
And that,
Wide liturgical acceptance.
and that's a crucial mark, because the natural home of the Bible is the liturgy.
So, that's very simple information on 7 books that aren't in the Bible all at once. It's 7 for...
Now, it's important to note, there are a lot, even though we can conclude with a very reasonable degree of certainty that these books should not be in the canon, for no other reason, multiple church councils didn't include them.
And because this is the Ignatius that did not get hit by a cannon, so he doesn't get to be in the canon. It's just logic.
But the letters of Ignatius still contain, again, in approximately 107, no later than 110, explicit mention of where the bishop is. There is the Catholic Church. It contains an admonition that the heretics are those who deny that we eat the body and blood of Christ. So the reformers, especially everyone's favorite lawyer, John Calvin.
Everyone's favorite. No, I'm sorry. I was going to say we love him around here, but we can't. I can't do it.
No. Jesus tells us to love our enemies. So in that sense, we love John Calvin.
We just don't like him.
We don't like him at all.
I respect that John Calvin was a beloved creation of our Lord and Creator, and that despite all of his many flaws.
Oh, make no mistake. I casually refer to him as Satan's own theologian.
God created him for a purpose, and
He did.
He loved him in that purpose.
He did. And then he said that God
I'm fairly certain that he failed that purpose.
He spent a lot of time arguing that God creates people explicitly to send them to hell. He did not fulfill his purpose, but he insisted that the letters of Ignatius couldn't possibly be legitimate because they sounded so very Catholic. Now, he was mostly arguing against the long recension. There were like 13 extant letters, a number of which have now been pretty definitively established to be forgeries. But his opinion was simply, nope, these can't. The early Christians couldn't possibly believe what the Christians of his time did, the Catholics of his time did. Therefore, these letters have to be false. It's a great example of specious reasoning, because he started with the conclusion
that all things Catholic are bad.
Yep.
These things seem Catholic.
Therefore
they must be bad.
They can't be legitimate. They're like really fancy forgeries, even though we've established pretty definitively through the early manuscripts and the very widespread nature of the letters that these were just in circulation. These letters were known in the early community. We didn't go back and add them to Irenaeus. So again, Irenaeus wrote on everything.
Yes, and even the long ones are only from the 4th century.
Yeah.
So, he'd probably, then be like, oh, Constantine, when he went and, decided to go and make up
the whole
this
church. Made up the whole thing.
He was like so busy.
and then
he got a lot done.
And then they did the massive work of going back through everything that had been made and Catholicizing it.
We're just that good.
Because that is actually not a beyond Herculean task.
I mean, there has been some issues of when monks redid things that were from the ancient Greco-Roman world.
Of course.
Adding a few bit,
but they didn't go back and redo every single copy existent in the world.
No, and it would be something like, this sounds vaguely, Christian-y. I bet if we change a few words, it will be the prophetess at Delphi actually foretold the Christ. A great ruler from Bethlehem.
You just need to remember, Latin is a very high context language. They cut out a lot of words that we in English would use because the context is really what determines how you read the sentence.
I now want to look up a Latin
in order to
sentence.
translate it into English, you have to add stuff in.
Yeah.
And I want to look up a Latin sentence that could either be a statement or a math problem, given how they use their letters for numbers.
That probably would not be
probably
hard.
exists.
But that's not really what we're here for.
Well, again, but everybody does that. covenant, 7. You're literally sevening yourself when you make a covenant.
7 you, pal.
7 me, 7 you.
All right.
So, the letters of Ignatius of Antioch. Really good stuff. A powerful witness to the early date of authentic belief. But not divinely inspired.
It's not the Bible.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But not part of the Bible, and for good reason.
So, go down below, and in that comment section, tell us what you thought of our breakdown of the 7 letters of St. Ignatius, or tell us of another book that didn't make it into the Bible, which you think maybe we should give some treatment to.
If you have the deep knowledge, tell us which of the 7 letters is your favorite.
Ooh. I don't have a favorite. Mostly because I haven't read them.
You love them all equally.
And there's a lot of going over the same stuff. Because, he's talking to different people. So,
Well, everybody needs the same basic message.
everyone needs the same basic message.
Yeah.
I want to be lion food. And let me be lion food.
Please don't stop this. As a bishop, I'm ordering you not to stop this.
And here's why it's important that I am a bishop when I order you to not stop this.
Again, we should not seek martyrdom. Doesn't mean we have to avoid martyrdom.
I also like that, he wasn't exactly young at the time either.
No. Like, listen, I've lived a good Christian life, and now I get to die a martyr? Bonus!
Please.
He would have been a saint even
Just
without
let this happen.
He would have been. He would have been a saint even without the martyrdom.
Just let this happen. It's fine. This is fine. I'm fine.
Yes, however,
Everything's fine. Except at your church.
you didn't write
My
to Corinth.
goodness. You've got some work to do.
That is fair. We only have 3 letters to Corinth, 2 by Paul, 1 by Clement, and they're all yelling at them.
Although it would be interesting if he had died not as a martyr, given the early date, because everyone would be like, he was the bishop of Antioch. How is he not a martyr?
Seems a little sus.
So while you're going and leaving us comments, make sure you hit that like button, the bell to subscribe, and the subscribe button and the bell next to it, so you get notified when new episodes come out. Which is about once a week, I believe now. Twice a week. All right, twice. We're back to twice a week. Excellent.
And until next time,
Remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
And
share that love.